insurance. This is Tony Cañas, and today I want to talk to you about how to make $1,000 a minute. How and why to negotiate your salary. Negotiation can be really uncomfortable, especially if you're not used to it. Many people avoid it as much as they can. But there are a few times in your career when negotiating well can make a difference, in a huge difference in your life, and a few hours of preparation followed by a few minutes of uncomfortable conversation can bring just gigantic benefits. Salary negotiations. I want you to understand why you must negotiate. Over the course of your career, not negotiating your salary can cost you $500,000. It's uncomfortable, but it's necessary. You can literally make $1,000 a minute or more doing these negotiations. And they expect you to negotiate. Surveys have found that 84% of employers expect you to negotiate. If you don't, you are leaving money on the table. And also, it is important to understand that everything else, going to a conference, a reimbursement for your cell phone, car allowance, any sort of other side perks to your job are compared against your base salary. So the higher your base salary, the more of a chance you have to get those things. So it's not just about your base salary. Also, your base salary is likely to follow you for years, even into other jobs within and beyond the company. So that's why it's so important to negotiate upfront. The other side, meaning HR or the hiring manager, is experienced in negotiations. They do it all the time. Chances are you don't negotiate as often as they do. So that is why it's so important to be as prepared and practiced as possible. There's only one best time to negotiate. The best time to negotiate is before you accept the new job. To be exact, the time to negotiate is when you get a job offer, not before then, but also not after accepting the offer. The biggest common mistake that people make is they get an offer and it's lower than they wanted. They say to themselves, no problem, I'll accept it, I'll go work for the company, I'll do a fantastic job, and then during review time, I will get a raise to get me to the salary that I wanted and the salary that I deserve. Chances are you will never see a major raise once you're already in the job. That's just the way things work in large companies. And the insurance industry is very much that way. You're very, very likely to get more than a cost of living raise, meaning 2 or 3%, unless you have gotten yourself a major promotion or change of departments. There's a very small chance that you'll be able to negotiate a better raise during your annual review. By the time that they talk with you, the raise is set and it is not really negotiable in the great majority of companies. So for the most part, at that point, the damage is done. And it's very unlikely that you'll be able to get more than a 5 or 8% raise even after getting a perfect review. And even that is unlikely. The time to get the money that you deserve is before you accept the job to begin with. I know it's silly, but it's the way the game is played. Probably the most important point here is you have to know your value in the market. Start with salary.com, then go to careerbliss.com, go to payscale.com, go to glassdoor.com. I'll include a list of a few others that places where you can get a good feel for what the job should pay in your area of the country to somebody with your skill set. The best possible use of your time before getting an offer, other than preparing for the interview itself, is doing as much research as you can and understanding your value and being able to show your work, being able to show the research that you've done when you're having that salary discussion when you get the offer. Activate your network. Search your LinkedIn connections that work or used to work the company you're interviewing with. Can they help you better understand the pay bands and other intricacies compensation in that company? Don't directly ask them how much the job pays or how much they think you can get, but rather ask them if they'd be willing to chat with you for 30 minutes to discuss their experiences at the company. Towards the end of the chat, bring up the pay question. Keep it kind of general and see how much they share. Know your BATNA. If you're not prepared to walk away in a negotiation, you will always lose. In short, be prepared to walk away. You must know your BATNA. If you're currently employed, your BATNA is your current salary. If you're not, do you have any other offers on the table? Are you currently receiving unemployment or a severance from your last job? Could you drive Uber or do some other temporary work while you negotiate from a position of strength? After you've done your research, you should know your BATNA, your salary goal, and your bottom line. Focus on the value you bring to the company. Never, ever, ever, ever try to negotiate salary based on need, based on your cost of living, based on your student loans, based on the number of kids you have. That is just not the way it works. Focus on the value you bring. This is one of the most important lessons in salary negotiation. Nobody cares what you need. Don't make an argument for more money based on your 5 children, your big mortgage, or your beach home. focus entirely on your experience, passion, education, and history of success that you bring to the company, and how all of this will help your company and your department be successful. If you grew sales by X at your prior job, or you lower cost by Y, make sure that you use specific numbers to quantify just how much value you bring to the company. So you want to negotiate based on the value that you bring to the company, and you want to negotiate based on your value in the market, based on significant research you've done that you can bring to the table to show them. If you're a new grad, as a new grad, you don't have a lot of experience to bring to the table. Instead, emphasize your high energy, enthusiasm, solid work ethic, and your commitment to work in insurance. You wouldn't be listening to me if you weren't committed to work in insurance. Keep in mind that at the entry level, the biggest risk that an insurance company is taking is that you're not committed to the industry and you'll end up leaving. So if you can show true commitment to an insurance career, you take that risk off the table and you maximize your chances for a better salary. If you're not an RMI major, you do hold some cards. Keep in mind that RMI majors are in high demand. RMI majors only fill 10 to 15% of our hiring needs in any given year. So you have some negotiating power compared to most other students with that experience. Never mention money until the end. Your job during the job interview is to sell the company on hiring you, not on telling them how much they need to pay you. You should never be the first one to bring up money. Wait until the very end. Let them bring it up first. Preferably, you want to get to the point where they make you an offer before money is ever brought up. Thank them for the offer and politely make your case. Once you do get an offer, whether it's fantastic, decent, or unacceptable, you should start by reacting in the exact same way by thanking them. Thank you so much for the offer. I'm very excited that you feel I'm a good match for your company, and I'm looking forward to consider your offer. If the offer was lower than you want, make a case for the value that you're bringing and explain the research you did ahead of time and how you're absolutely worth X in the market. You can say something like, I've done a lot of research on what this type of position pays for people with my experience and my education. I was expecting something closer to X. Then wait and give them a chance to raise their offer. This might involve them going back and getting approval, so it might take some time. If the offer was acceptable, even if it was as high as you wanted it to be, almost always it makes sense to ask for 5 to 10% more to make sure that you're not leaving money on the table. Chances are that they were prepared to negotiate up to 10% more. Don't come and ask for 40% more. Chances are you'll lose the offer. But you're very, very unlikely to lose an offer if you come back asking for just 8 to 10% more. So asking for more than 10% is very risky. Be aware that legally, the moment you make a counter offer, the ball is now in their court. You have technically rejected their offer and put a counter offer. So they could just back out and just decline. You could lose the offer. But it is very unlikely, especially if you handle it professionally. Within insurance, this is very unlikely to happen because insurance we're in an employee's talent market. They've probably had some trouble filling this role. They need you more than you need them. Worst case scenario, they'll probably just reiterate that this is the best offer they can make. And in that case, if it goes above your minimum, go ahead and take it. Otherwise, respectfully decline. If they absolutely won't budge on pay, you can always ask for better benefits. So sometimes they truly can't move on pay because of budget constraints. But in that case, sometimes you can make the offer acceptable by asking for extra vacation time, a flexible schedule, any other perk that can sweeten the deal without costing the employer too much, or that this comes from a separate budget. Until it's in writing, there is no offer. Once you accept the offer, do not make the mistake of considering it final and canceling all your other interviews until you get a written offer. Believe me, it's happened to me. I've had a company back away from a verbal offer. It's not fun. Thank you for listening today.